Okay, so I posted on Instagram and on my Facebook page for anyone to ask me questions about fostering, and I'll just go over a few of the same ones that I did get. The first one is, how much do you know about a dog before you start to foster them, like before you get them and bring them into your home to foster? Honestly, some of them can be a quick owner surrender, or someone just surrenders the dog and you hope that the owner is being truthful. A lot of dogs with the rescue that I personally work with, we pull a lot from shelters, and from there basically all we know is what the shelter staff knows. So if they just pulled a dog and then we decide, like the group decides that, okay, well, we have someone in here who's willing to foster this dog, then we'll just be like, okay, hey, we'll pull this dog and we have a foster already for it, and then they take it under their care, and then whoever decides to foster the dog, that's it. So we may not even really know that much. We may be able to find out a bit about them if they were an owner surrender, but if they're a stray, we pretty much don't know too much unless they've been at the shelter long enough before we decide to pull them, and we can kind of at least base off what we know off of what the shelter staff tells us. Okay, one of the other questions I had is, I'm going to read it off my phone. Is it like meeting or adopting any other shelter animal, or is it just like deciding which fosters will go to which homes? Okay, so for me, it's we as a foster will take in the dog. We'll usually hang on to the dog for a few days or like a week or whatnot to really get to know the dog's personality and how they are within our home and our environment that we provide them with. From there, when we feel like we really can like know the dog and be able to give the dog, proper assessment to see where the dog would excel at, if they're a very active dog or if they're a more laid back dog, then we decide to put the dog up for adoption. And then it kind of falls on us as a foster to do our research and, do a home check and just really see, which applicant would make the best choice for the dog based off how the dog is. So we wouldn't want to give like a high energy dog like a German Shepherd or a Malinois to someone who, one, isn't experienced with the breed, but also who has a pretty chill, laid back lifestyle. Like they like to just kind of sit at home and watch TV or play video games. They would have to go to someone who's far more active, who's constantly like exercising or going on hikes and adventuring and, and has the time to really get their dogs to play and work them. So this way they're going to be far less destructive in that house, or not destructive at all, which would be the goal. Whereas if you had a dog similar to Loki, who from him being here for about a week now, I've learned that he's a pretty laid back dog. He's really, really chill. He does exert some energy and will want to play, but he doesn't need to be in a highly active household. I personally am quite active, so when I do get a dog that's pretty laid back, it does make it, me a little bit lazier, I could say. But we really just try to pick the home that seems to be the best fit for that dog. So, and it really sucks when you have multiple applicants for a dog and they all seem like absolutely wonderful options. For me, I think that would be the hardest part. That was the hardest with my first foster, because Loki's only my second with the rescue I'm with. And so, that girl was so sweet, and she was just adorable, and she was an 8-week-old pup. And so really trying to make sure she went to the right home where someone would be willing to be patient and take the time and have the time to work with a puppy was super, super important. Not someone who worked a lot, where the dog would be created, because then it's really hard to potty train a dog if they're not already potty trained, and as a puppy, typically not. So, and the good thing is, like, I could sit and go to the rescue and, and have them help me, guide me along with, okay, which applicant between person A and person B do we feel would be the best? And then kind of like throw the ideas as to why we think one would be a better fit than the other. And we kind of weigh the pros and cons and then kind of decide from there. And obviously if that person that was a better fit falls through, then we would go to the next best applicant, as long as we still feel like they would fit the lifestyle for the dog and be, you know, a great and perfect forever home. Another question I got is, how do the others in my household feel about fostering? I absolutely love it, but I am married, I have a husband, and before I even agreed to foster, I needed to make sure he was okay and he was on board with it, because it's not fair for me to be like, yes, we're going to foster, and then my husband be like, no, I don't want to foster. So it was kind of like, we both agreed, like, I mean, I did a lot more convincing and was like, please, can we foster, you know? Just, it was just weird for us to not have that third dog in our house. Both my kids, they're really young, and so I think for them, it's not too difficult. I don't think they fully understand why, you know, our first foster came in, was here for a week, and then was gone, and now our second foster's been here for a week before we fully decided, you know, let's put him up for adoption, because we really wanted to get to know him, because he is an older pup at 6 months. So he's got that personality, you know, that takes a little bit of time to come out from. And my kids absolutely love it. As for my dogs, I got Loki right here sleeping, and one of my dogs right here taking a nap too, right next to him. My other dog is put up in our hallway, and that's just, he's not always the absolute best around male dogs, and he's usually just fine. He usually accepts all dogs wonderfully. Just for right now, I just have them apart. We were also feeding them, and so I just kind of left him back there to just chill and be on his own. But overall, we all approve of it and we all love it, and even though we've only been fostering about 2 weeks, this isn't my first time I fostered dogs. I did foster dogs a couple years back when I was working at an animal hospital, and that is how I got this little one. This is my dog Evie, and she was my first foster fail, and a big reason why I said I would never foster again was because of how quickly I foster failed with her. And she's just the sweetest. She was here, she was with my German Shepherd, and the two of them were just inseparable. So thankfully my husband approves of the fostering, and he's fallen in love with these dogs, and it makes it so difficult to say goodbye. But feel free to ask any other questions in the comments, and I will be trying to do videos every time I get a new foster, or at least just anytime we get a bunch of questions about fostering or a specific dog. I will happily do it. Or when I do decide to foster fail, I'm sure everyone will have lots of questions. Be sure to subscribe and like this video if you foster dogs, or you would want to foster dogs, but you also think that you would immediately foster fail, because dogs are the best. Alright, have a good day. Bye!